Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our February virtual tasting here at Lawson's Finest Liquids. Pleased to have you along with us, and I'm also very pleased to have a special guest this evening in the form of one Seth Talmon. How are you this evening, Seth?
Great, thank you, Sean. Yeah, it's exciting to be here.
Good to have you here. Yeah. It's a lot more fun having some company rather than just talking to the screen, even though I am thrilled to have all of you with us here this evening. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you'll join us by having a beer. What are we going to have first, Seth?
Oh, super session number 2.
We're going to crack into a session number 2. This is our session IPA, brewed with Amarillo hops, a single hop session IPA, series of IPAs, each one brewed with a different single hop. The number 2 is the original first incarnation of Super Session, brewed with all Amarillo hops, or Amarillo for some of you out there. Cheers. Glad to have you along.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us
Absolutely.
this evening. So this evening, in addition to drinking some beer, we're going to walk you through the year-round beers you can find throughout our 9-state distribution calendar. Mention the specialty releases that are coming out throughout the year, and walk you through flavors, tastes, and good times.
Yeah, really excited. Excited to change the lineup up a little bit, add some new session beers to the portfolio, and then, as you all know, we've made a big announcement recently for a new full-time beer to the lineup, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
But big announcement is, it's going to be a big year for Little Sip, coming to a store near you very soon. Little Sip IPA, our newest addition to the portfolio throughout the year. So we'll talk more about Little Sip.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Session first.
Heck
What
yeah.
do we got coming? We have a pretty exciting launch right around the same time of our newest edition of Super Session. After the number 2, we'll be launching which beer, Seth?
Super Session number 5. Never before seen cashmere hops. I'm really excited about it. We'll kick off, March 1st with that beer. It'll be packaged for the first time, and we'll get it out shortly after. In my perspective, I think that hop is super exciting. It's very earthy. It kind of goes a little bit old school and with its flavor profile, which we're seeing. People go back to those traditional flavors of the more traditional C hops. It's got a little bit of that. It's really earthy, which I appreciate. Just really excited about that and bringing something new.
And it's got this really sort of soft, supple character to the hop. It's not an aggressive bittering hop, hence the name, cashmere.
Yes.
Soft on the palate.
Right.
Drinks really smooth. We did a bunch of trials last year of different hops to introduce into the Super Session series, and the number 5 was a real winner with the new cashmere edition. And then over the summer, for the summer months, we'll be bringing back a fan favorite, number 8 with Mosaic. Has that juicy tropical profile of Mosaic, a cousin to Citra, like a bunch of different tropical fruit components. I get a lot of peach out of the Mosaic myself.
Yeah.
And it's a hop that so many people love. So 8 will be out for the summer.
And then fall is number 4, right?
Number 4 is coming for a brief appearance in the fall, and then we'll round out 4 is Centennial. We launched that beer in 2020 for the first time in cans for our full distribution network. And then to round out the year, another really exciting new addition to the Super Session series in cans. It's been brewed in small batch before, but never before released in cans for the whole market. And at the end of the year, we've got number 3, which is brewed with what?
Comet Hops.
Yeah, it's going to take off like a rocket.
Exactly. I love it because it's kind of a new school hop. I jokingly around here call it the hipster hop. I think those hipsters are going to really like it. And, but I just think that it's just really fun. I actually get a lot of vanilla character out of it, with just a nice, it's a nice bittering hop as well.
Yeah, I brewed that beer in Warren a bunch of years ago as I was working my way through the Super Session numbers, trying out different hops to see which ones fit best for the Super Session series. and we brought it back in bottles more recently, small batch Warren brew, and that was one that was really well received by fans here in Vermont, in Waitsfield, and so we decided to bring it out to you out there in the whole marketplace. So that's going to be coming to round out the year in the last quarter of 2020. So pretty exciting. Great lineup of Super Session beers coming to you. Again, 4.8%. Each one of these beers is built on the same malt base, the same base beer, and then we use a different single hop to make a really quaffable session IPA that you can really, it's good for after work, it's good for on the go, easy drinking.
And we hear, constantly, whether it's on social media or whether we're in the market, hearing from our fans or from our retailers that, all of our session series is just, I know that Sean took quite a bit of time building this series, that it's full-bodied and full-flavored. It's unlike any low ABV IPA that I've ever had, and this series is just full of flavor. And, a lot of times the session beer will kind of drop off and fall off on the flavor on the back end, where, this just, takes it all the way. And
yeah,
you're ready for another sip.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard to get a lot of flavor in a 4.8% beer. It's hard. The hardest part, I think, is getting it to be really balanced, to have the hop character of an American IPA, but to reside at that sub 5 ABV, because the higher the alcohol, the more flavor. The alcohol carries flavor, but the overall balance of the beer, you can just pack a lot more flavor into a beer with a higher alcohol, even just 6 or 8%, without it being out of balance. Once you get down into that 4 range, it's really easy to get out of balance for a beer where, it could get too bitter or too thin. And I think I'm really happy we hit the mark on this one.
That's great.
So,
yeah.
So next up in the lineup is the big announcement that we've been sharing with you and getting so much excitement from all of our fans out there, and that is the Little Sip IPA coming to a store near you in just a matter of weeks. March 1st is the official launch of this beer, a beer that's been in the works for some time. We launched this beer back in the summer of 2020 here in Vermont for Vermont-only distribution, and it was such a hit that we have elected to bring it to the rest of the 8 states, the 9 states in total that we distribute to. Couldn't be more excited to share this beer with you out there in the market. So look forward to bringing it to you very, very soon. And so with that, we're gonna get into this and taste it along with you. For those of you watching in Vermont, you might have one of these in your fridge. Feel free to crack one open and join us. The Little Sip, of course, as we've talked about before, is a beer that is a little cousin to Sip of Sunshine. A little bit more approachable at 6.2% alcohol, but it packs the same juicy tropical flavor profile of grapefruit, mango, pineapple, lychee, pick your favorite. And it's so drinkable and delicious and balanced. I've been saying this is my new favorite go-to beer, Seth.
Oh, heck yeah. That's all I'm drinking right now. I'm just really excited about this beer and just how it's been received here in Vermont, and the excitement behind it. And, it's been an interesting ride with launching a new full-time beer here in Vermont in the middle of a pandemic. And, to see the excitement around this brand, to have folks on social media sharing with us what they're doing with Little Sip, whether it's hiking or biking or skiing or or camping or whatever it is. It's really fun to see people taking this beer and sharing it outside, whether it's social distancing with friends or going for a ride or or have beer that's after a run. It's pretty exciting.
Really exciting about the packaging, the way it's come together too. You can see right here with the Little Sip, that bright blue can next to that bright yellow can. Hopefully it will be easy to find for you sometime soon. It pops, and pretty excited. I couldn't be more excited about this beer.
Heck yeah.
Cheers to all of you out there. So before we go on and talk about our number one flagship, maybe we'll pause for a second, see if there's any questions out there in virtual land. No questions.
No
So
questions.
as a reminder, folks, if you've joined us this evening, feel free to pose questions. You can post in the comments, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have out there about the beers that we're talking about tonight, or really anything Lawson's Finest Liquids. We're just excited to be here with you in the tap room. We're really looking forward to the day we can get people back in here
Heck
with
yeah.
us. Right,
I mean, to be able to sit on that patio again is going to be pretty exciting. You know, it's a theory that we're probably just so riveting that there's no questions coming in. You know, we're just answering all of them for them, and you know, it also could just be our good looks, or at least
cheers,
yours.
Cheers to that, and cheers to you out there. Yeah. So we'll just digress for a few moments because I know, or for a minute, because we know, we don't know when the whole public health situation is going to improve all the way to be able to reopen inside the tap room here. But we do know for sure that come, later in the spring, once it's warm outside, we will be reopening our beer garden for outside service. So really looking forward to those days when we get the beer garden back open. So look for that later in the spring once the weather gets warm again. But if you're a fan of snow and a fan of skiing, snowmobiling, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, being outside in the winter, now is the time in Vermont. It is piled high out there. It's really beautiful, and the skiers are loving it right now, including myself.
Ed Birch has a question.
Ed Birch.
He never asks questions. What are you talking about?
Shout out to Ed Birch.
So Ed is wondering if we would ever consider an online service that would allow people outside of our area to order 4-packs of our beer.
Great question, Ed, because a lot of breweries have started shipping direct to customers, and we've certainly considered that. And because of our passionate dedication to keeping beer cold and fresh to the customer, we've really elected not to go into the direct shipping world because of the vagaries of shipping. Certainly in the warmer months, it's a lot harder. Even if you put an ice pack in an insulated package, you just never know what's going to happen in transit, if it's going to get delayed, if it's going to land on someone's front porch and bake in the sun. And because we're so passionate about cold supply chain, it stays cold from the minute we finish the beer, package it up, put it in the cooler, truck it in refrigerated trucks, insist that the stores keep it cold, and hopefully you do too at home, that we're not comfortable with shipping beers directly to customers. We'd love to be able to get it direct to you, but we're going to use the cold supply chain for now in order to ensure the quality of the beer is as brewery fresh when you get it as it was when we shipped it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we do get a lot of requests for that, but hopefully when things subside, you'll be able to come back to the drive-through and stock up on that beer and bring it home. I think, where are you, Ed? You're in Pennsylvania.
So
That's
little sip coming to you very soon.
PA in the house. Yeah. I should mention actually, Ed, and I think you actually mentioned something on social media that we did just hire a new Pennsylvania, New Jersey sales representative. Yeah. So really excited about that. Brittany's based in Jersey, and we'll be spending quite a bit of time in Pennsylvania, and I'm sure you'll see her around.
We've got a couple more questions now.
Excellent. More questions. Yes.
So, Lindsay is wondering what beer you're most excited about right now.
So Lindsay wants to know what beer we're most excited about. That's an easy one. Little Sip.
Absolutely.
Little Sip. Can't wait for this to be available to all of our fans out there across the 9-state market. But we also have a number of specialty releases coming out this year. And I don't know how, are we gonna hold up the calendar, or can you show this on the screen? Is that something you guys were gonna do? So, no? All right. Well,
we can read through it. How's that?
We can read through it.
Yeah, exactly.
You can tell me how close to get to the camera. Take a look. Tell me. It won't work. Oh, I'm being told to sit down.
Sit down, Sean.
I'm being reprimanded. Thank goodness there's some professionals in the house.
Yeah, I think we're going to be able to get that up for you
Nice.
So we,
All right.
we've got some professional help, and we might be able to show this special calendar to you out there
Yeah.
in virtual land. And so we have 6 different beers, including the Little Sip coming to the marketplace throughout the Northeast, including New Jersey and PA. And the first one coming up after Little Sip, which is March 1st, is coming out later in April.
Yep.
And that's going to be an LFL Original Knockout Blonde Ale, a very approachable 5% blonde ale. And last year, Seth, we saw a lot of renewed interest in blonde ales, and we saw that here in Vermont with our release, our seasonal release of Knockout Blonde. Very approachable, very nice lemon, lime, citrus component, but just a nice, balanced, very drinkable beer.
For sure, yeah. We've seen, just the market in general, throughout our 9-state distribution, that blondes are on the uptick, and I think it is just because of that approachability, lower ABV. So yeah, pretty exciting.
Yeah, so that beer will be out in April and May, and then coming in for the summer months, 2 different versions of our Scrag Mountain Pilsner. And the Scrag Mountain Pilsner, you may see that throughout the year in certain places. We're making that beer more available for special order to our distributors in our 16-ounce cans, and when on-premise comes back, and draft for sure. And so that beer is going to be launching in June. Does that sound right?
Yep.
And so we'll have the Scrag Mountain Pils as our featured limited release in June. And side by side, we're also going to be releasing a beer that we did here in Vermont last year that was very successful, very well received. Our Scrag Mountain Pils brewed with salt and lime, also affectionately known as
Scraggerita.
Scraggerita, baby. It was delicious, and it actually makes a really nice beer cocktail too. If you're a fan, if you're a fan of the margarita, try making a margarita with a splash of Scrag with salt and lime, and I guarantee you'll like it. And so those will be available throughout the summer months, sort of side by side, a shorter run of the salt and lime at the front end of the summer, and then we'll have a longer run throughout the summer months of the Scrag Mountain Pils. And
Absolutely.
And then coming midsummer release, hopefully by the 4th of July, well, you'll see across the market a beer that is really fun connection to music that we developed with one of our favorite bands here in Vermont, The Grift, a beer called Hopsalot IPA. And it's brewed with 8 different hops from around the world. It's a beer that we hatched for the Grift's 15th anniversary. We remade it for their 20th anniversary a couple of years ago, and then we launched it in cans this past year, and it was so well received, so much fan excitement around that beer, and the packaging too, with its nod to musical history, and another one of our favorite bands here in Vermont that we decided to bring that one out to market. And of course, IPAs are the most popular style of craft beer. You can't go wrong with a stellar IPA.
Absolutely. I mean, our fans are asking for them. That category is just, still on a huge trajectory when it comes to growth, and, to be able to provide a new, 7% IPA to the market that, some fans have seen up here in Vermont, but be able to bring it to that, to the outer market is really exciting.
And then another Lawson's Finest favorite that's only been available at limited quantities at limited times that I brewed years ago. Double IPA coming around Labor Day for September. Kiwi Double IPA. We've gotten so many requests for the Kiwi Double IPA over the years, and I'm really thrilled that we're going to be able to get that one out there to the rest of the market. It's an 8% IPA brewed with all Southern Hemisphere hops, so it's got mostly New Zealand hops. It's got Pacific Jade and Nelson Sauvin, which brings this really nice vinous character, earthy vinous white wine type of character, hence the name to the beer, as well as a little zippy citrus component from Galaxy, an Australian hop. And then finally, to round out the year, we've got the Whopper on the calendar. Yes, indeed, Triple Sunshine coming to you for the holidays, for Christmas, for Thanksgiving time, and maybe it'll last till Christmas.
We'll see.
In your fridge,
Yeah.
if you hang on to it. And
I've been having these meetings with all of our distributors, in our 9 states, and it's fun to be able to look at this calendar and say, we're finally giving them what they want. We've been hearing for so many years, triple sunshine, bring it to the market, bring it to PA, bring it to, Connecticut. And so it's really exciting to be able to do that and bring it out for the holiday season.
All right, I'm wicked excited about that one. So before we get into our last beer of the evening for the tasting here, any other questions out there in virtual land? Lots of questions. And then we'll crack open a sip of sunshine as our crowning achievement. Yeah. Oh, so we're gonna throw the calendar graphic up on the screen so you can see for yourself sort of timing, availability, which beer is coming when, and these will go out to the entire market, all 9 states. There won't be enough quantity to go to every store that we distribute to, but certainly the stores where our beers are regularly available all the time. You can ask your favorite store about these beers during the time frame when they're coming out or a little bit ahead of that, and if you're interested in picking them up.
Nice. So it's up on the screen, huh?
Just took it down.
Nice.
All right.
Very cool.
Cheers.
So Dan has a question. He says, what are the hops in Little Sip? Are they same as Sip of Sunshine?
So Dan asked, what are the hops in Little Sip? Same as Sip of Sunshine? Yes, indeed. So Little Sip is built on the exact same recipe as Sip of Sunshine. It's a beer that features Citra hops, so that's the star of the show is Citra, bringing all those tropical fruit flavors and aromas to the beer. And so Little Sip is really, it's Sip of Sunshine, just a little bit smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Same malt bill, just a little bit smaller. And, we were just excited. We spent so much time on, developing this brand and developing it so that it had the same flavor profile as Sip of Sunshine, and just being able to, introduce that lower ABV to you, whether you're, an existing fan and have been drinking our beer for years or bringing new fans into the fold.
Yeah, we did a video recently, and one of the things I said was I knew we nailed it with the recipe on Little Sip when I tasted it side by side with Sip of Sunshine, and the two beers were nearly indistinguishable except for the sort of the lighter body and the perceptibly lower alcohol on the Little Sip. So it's just a more approachable version of one of those beers that you love out there. Or as one of our friends says, it's Sip of Sunshine, just 25% less buzzed.
Nice.
You ready for more?
You ready
Sure.
for the next question?
All right.
Yeah.
So Greg wants to know if there's any chance we'll join the Haze Craze.
So Greg wants to know if we'll join the Haze Craze. Well, I don't know. When I started out, the beers were really hazy, but the marketplace has really changed around us. So slightly hazy now looks pretty clear, doesn't it,
Right.
Seth?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I always say, give me a couple beers and I'll be joining the Haze Craze.
So we're, one of the things that we say at Lawson's Finest is we've done well by staying true to brand, true to our flavor profiles and the way that we brew beer. So no plans to really change that radically, but we are working on a few things. So stay tuned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is another good one. So Paul wants to know, he wants some explanation on reasoning behind what we decide to distribute versus what we, keep at the tap room.
Sure. So Paul's looking for a little explanation. How do you decide what to distribute versus what you just have at the tap room or in Vermont? And I think the number one thing is we try to respond to our fans. So we listen to you, we listen to the calls for different beers. We also see how the beers sell. So when a beer sells really well, the pull-through is very fast. That's, even without hearing directly from customers, that's telling us a signal from the marketplace that people really want this beer. And so that's how we kind of make our decisions. And sometimes we just pick our favorites that also sell well. So it's a little bit of sort of objective data, but it's also just kind of gut feeling and qualitative assessment too of sort of what are people really wanting, what are they asking for, and what do we think can do well out there. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would add to that too that we have this ability now to, use we have a 1-barrel system here now. We have a 7-barrel system, and we have a 30-barrel system that, that we can develop brands and, listen to what our fans are looking for, and try out new recipes on this little 1-barrel system and bring them over to the tap room when it's open and put them on draft and, test them out on our fans and while they're here and, just kind of see what people are liking. And we're always, trying to push the limit and bring new recipes to the fold, which is exciting. And, who knows, the next, beer that comes out of the little 1-barrel system could be on this release calendar next year.
Excellent. Any more questions out there?
Oh, yes.
Lots of questions.
This one's a hot one. We get asked this a lot. What about Double Sunshine?
I was going to just try to ignore that.
Yes. Yeah. You still got to come here and make the pilgrimage to Waitsfield, Vermont to get the Double Sunshine. So, and we appreciate you doing that.
And Chet wants to know when we're going to see quadruple sunshine.
Oh.
No plans to make quadruple sunshine, Chet.
Right.
So
just drink 4.
You never know. Yeah. Just have 2 double sunshines.
Right.
Or 1.5 triple sunshines later in this year. Yeah.
And that's rounding it out.
Right on.
Nice.
So how are we doing time-wise? How much time do we have left?
5:29.
Oh my gosh, did a half an hour go away? We better open a sip of
Yeah, we
sunshine because
probably
we only got 1 minute left to talk about the #1 beer in Lawson's Finest Liquids land. And thank you for supporting us, because Sip of Sunshine, our #1 beer, has been growing from day one since we released it to the present day, and it continues to grow across the Northeast where we sell this beer. You guys, was it Chet asked about the Double Sunshine? Lisa Ann, sorry Lisa Ann.
Right.
PA fan, so Double Sunshine, and we're really looking forward to when you can travel freely again and get up here and visit us in Vermont. Come check out the beautiful tap room, stay up here in Vermont. We have a special place, a little Airbnb up in Warren, the site of our original home, where the 7-barrel brewery is, that you can rent out and stay and try out that Double Sunshine. But in the meantime, the Sip of Sunshine, I used to say the Double Sunshine was our first home run beer, because people were driving from all over the Northeast and beyond to come and get it, buy it at the Warren store. And so I decided I kept saying no all the time, Seth. That was no fun. Like, no, I don't even have enough beer to distribute here in Vermont. So I was saying no to retailers, and then I started saying no to distributors out of state and fans from out of state that had discovered our beer, and that was no fun. And that's when we teamed up with Two Roads in 2014 to brew the Sip of Sunshine. And if Double Sunshine was our home run beer, then Sip of Sunshine has been our grand slam beer, because it's been a real winner. So many people love this beer. And I still keep hearing to this day, people say, not only tell me how much they love the beer, but it's not only one of their favorite beers, it's like their #1 favorite beer, and I'm just so honored and flattered. So thank you to you guys out there that are fans and supporters of us. Really appreciate you. Cheers to the Sip of Sunshine.
Oh, so good.
Never gets old.
We've been, meeting, as I mentioned before, with all of our distributors around the 9-state footprint, and my constant joke at the beginning of every presentation has been, well, we've decided we're going to keep brewing Sip of Sunshine. We think we think it is the Grand Slam, so we are going to keep brewing this, and it'll be, it's so fun to have this beer be so successful and have so many people, bring people into the fold, into the craft beer fold, and to just be such a great foundation for our company, and being able to provide our opportunity to have, philanthropy as a company, and be able to pay our employees a livable wage, and, and provide for this community, and our overall craft beer community, which is, it's a testament to the quality of what's in this glass.
Absolutely. Thanks for mentioning that. That's why we named it the Sunshine Fund here at the tap room when we're open, and even at the drive-through retail. We collect donations, and our employees are paid a livable wage with generous benefits, and we direct, instead of accepting tips, donations to local charitable causes to support healthy communities and food and economic security, and it's been received and supported in ways that we could never have imagined. So, shining a bright light on helping folks in our local communities, and we're going to be expanding on that program and bringing out our social impact program, or the SIP, out to communities where you live over the coming months and years as well. So we look forward to sharing those details as we firm them up. So I think we've talked through all of our time, Seth. So any last questions?
We've got one last one. Rich is wondering if AppGap is ever going to be available in New York, because he didn't buy enough at the brewery last time he was here.
Nice. Rich wants to know about our AppGap Saison. And,
Yeah.
that's a beer that we brew over the summer months. It'll be available again here in Waitsfield, Vermont. No plans to distribute it, but keep your eyes peeled in for when it's out, and maybe you can find a friend here in Vermont to get you some.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day, out of your evening, to listen in, to cheers with us virtually, Lawson's Finest Liquids, and we appreciate you fans out there. So, cheers.